The solution on this one should be 82. The answer to this one should be negative 21. Solution on this one should be 486. The answer is a negative 291. Right answer should be 2. Pick a number from 1 to 5 and drop it off. The winning number today is 4. The homework check today is 2 things. One is the puzzle that I never checked from the previous test, and then the after-test assignment from Friday. Today's objective: to solve a quadratic equation by completing the square. The specific learning target is the exact same thing. Just solve a quadratic equation by completing the square. Here is example number 1. Here is the quadratic equation. X squared plus 2x minus 24 equals 0. Your first step in solving a quadratic equation by completing the square is to move this last term, this constant and the sign in front of it, to the other side on the right and change the sign. That is all we're going to practice for the first 2 examples and the first 2 practice problems. The quadratic equation: move the last term to the right side, change the sign. If it's minus, it becomes plus. If it's plus, it becomes minus. This is what you would bring up to me for right now. And leave a space right here because you're going to need it whenever you go to step 2. Here is example number 2. The quadratic equation is x squared minus x minus 30 equals 0. Step 1 is to move the minus 30 to the right side and change the sign to positive 30. That's it. That's all we're practicing right now is step 1. When you bring this up here for a practice problem, this is what it should look like right here. Bring up only step 1, what you should have after step 1 on this practice problem. On the practice problem, you should have x squared plus 3x equals 28 after step 1. Your first step should look like this. X squared minus x equals a positive 20. Practice problem number 2. Drop this off. Step 1 only. You should have x squared plus 7x equals 30. You should have x squared plus 5x equals a negative 6. For example 3, we're going to step 2 now. So here is the equation. X squared plus 4x minus 21 equals 0. Step 2, like we just did, move the minus 21 to the right and make it plus 21. Now the next step is to do this. Whatever your middle term is, the number beside the x, makes no difference if it's positive or negative. Divide it by 2 and then square the result. So half of 4 is 4. That's ridiculous. That'll be on the blooper reel. Half of 4 is 2. And then when you square 2, you get 4. That's where we get this 4 and this 4. You add it to both sides. Half of 4 is 2. Square that to come up with 4. And then add that 4 here and on the other side. When you bring this up for a practice or a bonus, this is what you should bring me. Exactly how it looks here. Don't do any simplification or anything else. This is all I need on your paper. Don't do the whole problem on the paper. Do it on another sheet if you have to. Just bring up step 2. That's all I need. Here's example 4. x squared minus 6x minus 27 equals 0. Move the minus 27 to the right and make it positive 27. That's step 1. Now go to step 2. You have a minus 6 in the middle. Don't worry about the sign. Half of 6 is 3. Square the 3 to get 9 and add it to both sides. This is why we left a space here before. This is all you need to bring up for step 2. Don't include anything else on the little piece of paper. Bring this up. Step 2 only, and drop it off. On the practice problem, step 1 is x squared plus 8x equals 20. And then step 2, half of 8 is 4. Square the 4 to get 16 and add that to both sides. Same thing on the bonus, just bring me step 2. Step 2 only. Your step 1 on the bonus, if I can ever get the smaller pen up there, there we go. Step 1 on the bonus is x squared plus 10x equals 24. Step 2 is half of 10 is 5, and square that to get 25, which you must add to both sides. I think everybody had that right. Step number 2, that's all you have to bring up on this, just like practice number 3. Step 1 is x squared minus 2x equals 8. Half of 2 is 1. Square that to get 1 and add that to both sides. Step 2 is all I need. Okay, for this it should be x squared plus 12x, and that's going to equal 28. Half of 12 is 6. Square the 6 to get 36 and add that to both sides. In example number 5, we're going to go to step 3. So we had x squared plus 8x minus 48 equals 0. Step 1 is to move the minus 48 to the right and make it positive 48. Step 2, which we just went through, is to find half of the middle term. In this case it's 4. Square it to get 16 and add it to both sides. Step 3 is to do this. Whatever the sign was on that middle term, that's what goes here. So it's plus, so we put a plus there. You need your x, a set of parentheses, and the square symbol. The number that goes here is what was half of the middle term. You need the sign and half of this term to get plus 4. If you square this quantity, it takes you right back to this. Over here, all you do is add. 48 plus 16 is 64. Again, on this side, you need a set of parentheses, squared. You write your x, the sign that was in the middle, and half of the middle term. Here's another step 3 example. In this case, we have x squared minus 10x minus 56 equals 0. This goes to this side and changes signs to positive 56. Half of 10 is 5. Square the 5 to get 25 and add it to both sides. You need a set of parentheses squared. You need your x term, the sign from the middle, and half of that middle term. On this side, you simply add. All you need to bring up for step 3 is this: a quantity squared equal to a number. Bring me step 3 only. Step 3. Alright, here comes a bonus problem. Okay, step 1 is x squared plus 4x equals 45. Step 2 is half of 4 is 2. Square that to get 4 and add it to both sides. Step 3, you need the quantity squared of x plus 2 equals 49. If you have this up here on the table, come and get it. Simple order of operations. Answer on the bonus should be 29. Or practice number 6, step number 3 only, just like the last practice. And on the practice problem, step 1 is x squared plus 6x equals negative 8. And then half of 6 is 3. Square that to get 9 and add it to both sides. Step 3 is the quantity squared. Oh, I sure fouled up there. The quantity squared of x plus 3 is equal to 1. If you have this, bring it on up. Answer should be 38 on the bonus. Example 7, x squared plus 10x plus 16 equals 0. Move this to the right side and make it minus 16. Now find half of 10, which is 5. Square that and add it to both sides. So you add 25 to both sides. Now we need a quantity squared of your x term, the middle sign, the sign by the middle term, and then half of the middle term, x plus 5, quantity squared. And then over here you have negative 16 plus 25, which is 9. Now part of step 4 is written on step 3. You have to find the square root of both sides. And the square root of the quantity squared of x plus 5 is simply x plus 5. So you just have one of them now. And then over here the square root of 9 is plus or minus 3. You must write plus or minus 3. So step 4 is to bring up x plus 5 equals plus or minus 3. That's all you need to bring up for step 4. Here's another example. X squared plus 8x equals negative 33, or not equal, but minus 33 equals 0. Move this minus 33 to the right side, change the sign. Half of 8 is 4. Square that to get 16 and add it to both sides. Now you need a quantity squared of your x term, the sign from the middle, and half of the middle term, x plus 4. 33 plus 16 is 49. Part of step 4 has been written on step 3, which is to find the square root of both sides. The square root of this is simply x plus 4. And then on the right, the square root of 49 is plus or minus 7. This is all you need to bring up for step 4. Practice number 7. Bring up step 4. On this one, you should have x squared plus 2x equals 35, and then half of 2 is 1. Square that, which is 1, and add it to both sides. The quantity squared of x, and then the sign from the middle, plus, and half of the middle term, 1. All of this equal to 36, but don't forget for step 4 you must find the square root of both sides, so you should have x plus 1 equals plus or minus 6. Well, you should have 6 times 4, which is 24, divided by 8 is 3. And then 9 times 4 is 36, divided by 12 is 3.
That was another divide. minus 12. There's not another dollar.
Bring up step 4. On this problem, don't come up as soon as I circle step 4 because I'm going to show you the rest of the problem, which is what you have to do on your homework, and it's only one extra step. This is x squared plus 4x equals negative 3. Half of the middle term is 2. Square that to get 4 and add it to both sides. You need the quantity squared of x, the middle sign, half of the middle term, and set that equal to 1. The square root of both sides will give you x plus 2 equals plus or minus 1. This is what's on the table. However, to get your final answers, you must do this problem here twice. Once as x plus 2 equals a positive 1, and once as x plus 2 equals a negative 1. That's the reason for the plus or minus sign. This one would be x equals a negative 1, and this one would be x equals a negative 3 when you solve them out. If you have this here on the table, come and get it. The answer is 31. Homework is on Facebook as well as the next screen.